Welcome back everybody to R44 Performance's YouTube, and today you find us in our M240i and it's time to get some noise. We're not going to get an exhaust on it, we're going to fit an intake. A bit of sideways action. Woohoo! Let's have a look what we can do in the 240i. So, as you can see, you can slide the 240i. It is a good fun car. We've got traction off. We're probably in some sport mode. Dylan set it all up for me, so I don't know. This car is, our sales manager Zach. It's his demo car, and yeah, so he's on holiday, poor lad. But anyways, back to it. So today we're going to fit an MST intake. This is a dry kind of cone intake, pretty simple, really cost-effective intake. We sell a lot of them for the previous generation 240i as well as the M cars, and they are really good. They just do the job. We fitted the M2 one yesterday. They're really nice. What are we saying? Another slide? See this one? We can carry this one around. Oh, wrong gear. Very nice. Okay, anyway, so let's have a look. Cabin noise at the minute is minimal. The exhaust does sound good, don't you think, Dylan? I think for a stock system. So this is sport mode, M1 through the gear. There's a bit, but there's really not a lot of noise. Let's try it once more. So we're just on some sprinting roads. It's full on sideways, just trying to get some noise, but there really isn't a lot of noise. Quick pull from first gear. What do you think, Dylan? Shit. We need to change it, don't we? Alright, so let's get it straight in the workshop. We're going to pull over now, we're going to get some outside shots, and then we'll go take it back to the workshop and we'll have a look what's under the hood, what's kind of causing some of the noise restrictions of the current intake, and then have a look around the MST intake and the quick install of it. It's pretty simple, it is a nice intake. So yeah, let's cut it there and let's jump back outside, get some outside fun, and then into the workshop. Welcome back everybody, we're now in the workshop. We've opted to do the install in our wrap bay because the lighting's nice and it looks nice. So the MST G42 intake is here. What we're going to do is pull it out and have a little unbox. But let's briefly look at the stock setup. So under the bonnet, you've got the beautiful, iconic B58, which is the best engine ever. And then you've got the airbox. Really simple airbox design, connects to the turbo just down there. So it should be a really easy install. You've got this kind of silencer, resonator thing that it's a new addition. This isn't normally on the Supras, the M140s, etc. But this really resonates the sound. But we're going to whip all this off. Pretty simple, but let's get straight onto it and let's unbox this. So shout out to MST. A little bit of background on MST while I do this. They're a really good, cost-effective intake, is how I kind of explain them to anybody that asks. And let's see why. So they come packaged up really nice. So straight away, so we've opted for a clear cover on this. So it's a bit different. They do the kind of like Perspex clear cover. I think it's really nice. Obviously, we're content creators and we want to showcase what's under the hood. They obviously do a metal one as well, but really nice. We'll probably get this ceramic coated or something. That way it's protected. So that's the first piece that comes out. Nice little logo. And then we've got the heat shield cover. So I believe this is the is this the metal version of the same thing? It wouldn't surprise me if it is. So there you go. So that's the metal version of the acrylic. And looks, you can tell the difference. It does look quite nice. It will dress up the engine bay with the metal. It would all tie in really well. So yeah, we're going to go for the see-through though, so we can showcase what's underneath. Boom. So we've got the first elbow. Nicely wrapped with a map sensor connection. And I think they supply, from the one yesterday I fitted, they supply the fixings. Let's have a look underneath here. We've got the cone, a really nice cone. Everything's there, the clamp's already on there, so that's quite nice. Moving on. we've got more silicone hoses, all the fixings and fixtures, and then the base box, which is in here. So again, you know, for me as a customer, kind of reviewing the product first time, it's the first time I've unboxed one. It's nice, presented really well, and well protected, obviously. And there is the kind of base connection. So that will pop in, I presume, like so. Pipe will go through, cone, and then the roof on the top. So let's get cracking on the stock intake. All right, so we're going to start off by taking the MAF sensor off. Just a simple pull back that clip, push down, that's off. It's pretty simple, I think, with this intake. You can use a flathead, or I believe it's a 7. Got a flathead here, I'll use that. I'll most likely grab a 6 and try that. So now that's loose, what I'm going to do is take the air box out, just a simple wiggle, and pop straight out. So literally, this you can keep, put aside. The only thing that we're going to take off is the MAF sensor, which is a Torx T20, it looks like. So we'll put that aside for now, and let's pull out this. So it's going to be quite difficult. There's another clamp just down the bottom here, so I'm just going to work down there. Again, use your flathead and just unscrew it, just like so. So that's unscrewed now, and that just pops straight out. So you've got the stock air box, and obviously the elbow here. Again, it looks like there's some resonating things in there. You can see we've got some good colour in there. We've had this engine very hot, obviously. Anyway, so that's it. We're going to put that aside. I'm going to get my Torx T20, take that MAF sensor off, and start rebuilding the intake. T20 on the MAF sensor. Be very careful. Make sure you don't go inwards. These are very easy to strip. So these will come off, and they will be replaced with machine fixings that go into the aluminium. So we're going like so. Pop that off, pop there. MAF sensor, very fragile. So the first thing I always do is get a piece of metal here that's going to replace it, and let's get that MAF sensor straight back in the correct position. Like for like, this little rib, that is obviously for the silicone in like the air filter of such, and that prevents it from popping off. And then in your box you'll get some fixing. So let's pop this. So your MAF sensor's tucked in there. This is a 3mm Allen key. Just thread that in. You don't want to cross thread them. If you have some Loctite, you can Loctite them ever so slightly, but these should be pretty good because they're pinching between the metal and the plastic. They should stay in. Indeed. Hopefully so. Then hand tighten them. Nice. Lovely. Cool. Make sure you just go bang bang forward. Swap between the fixings, that way it's not sat wrong. So that's done, so we can put that aside. We're now going to have a look what else we've got. So I think we've got this connection to go down. That's going to connect to here, just like so. It's going to go down there. And then this is going to go in to that, like that. So you can see here is a new detail that we've added. Obviously the car's purple. We haven't even mentioned it. What do you think of the look of the car? But anyways, we put hell lines on. So they're now on the website. We put them in green. Quite cool. So they're like a braided line to deal with some of the issues that we found on track recently. But yeah, you've got two of these large kind of clips. So these go around. Have a look at the one thing to always look at in detail is obviously where your tightening point is. I'm going to face them. If you look down, you've got access through here, and I think you should be able to have that access when you pop these in anyways. So I'm going to keep everything facing this direction. So I'm going to get down here now. I'm using a flathead. You can use obviously a socket. Sockets sometimes. I've placed the kind of this elbow into the silicone. I've tightened up the bracket a little bit. Again, as always, face your direction so you can gain access through here. I've left it loose, that way we can pull it out, pull it in, twist it, etc., because we're not too sure exactly on the position. I've placed the heat shield in, made sure it all lines up nicely. We've got some fixings to sort out down there, but there's also a little bit of metal trim just at the bottom here that goes around the steering column. So I bent that over slightly, just make sure it doesn't come in contact with the steering column. It's really important. So once it's all fixed up, we can maybe push it back a little bit. But yeah, we've got the cold air coming in. This position I'm happy with, so I'm going to pop this back out or reach in, which I can, and just tighten up that clip, that Jubilee clip. Cool, so you get the bolt and the nut. Use one of your rubber grommets as well, and the two washers so you can clamp the grommet. It's then a 12mm on the top, on the nut side, on the bolt side, and then 13 on the nut. You just want to torque that up. Not too tight because you've got the grommet in there, but that allows for a bit of movement, and then you've got one fixing that's going to do that. So this bolt is just 10mm either side. Make sure your washers are in there. Lock that in hand tight. So that's now all fixed in. Now the final bit of the assembly is the intake. So OCD, MST goes in. You've also got the join line. So that obviously MST, attention to detail, they've got the brand and the join line there. So that goes on the underside. Again, put your Jubilee clip on so you can access it. So again there. So what we might do is I'm going to turn the Jubilee around, because if you put it on this side, it's going to rub against the seal around the metal. Put it on this side, you've got loads of space and good access. Put that on like so. Make sure our branding's there. That's there. Go in and lock that up. So the last thing, we've strapped that up nice and tight. Make sure it's pushed on, because you have that little rib. You'll be able to feel the rib of the aluminium elbow just there. MAF sensor, clip it back in, locked in, nice and tight, no movement. So obviously we've opted for the acrylic cover, which is going to be nice. Check it all lines up. If it doesn't line up, it tends to be, you might have to loosen this off to kind of move it around. So that's probably what we're going to do. So obviously routed out there as well. So you just have to play around, get it molded in, and then you've got the metal one. But we're going to keep this on. All right, so there's 3 screws that hold the top plate in. They're just a 3mm Allen key again. Do them. Just watch when you wrench these up. You don't want to crush the plastic. Boom. And to get them all lined up, just push them around a little bit. Tucks in, nice little detail there. And then I've loosened off the 10mm socket in this corner just to make it fit perfect. That way there's no stress within the system. So it's all locked up. And let's start it up. So, welcome back everybody. We are heading out in the 240, so the install is now done. Went really well. Let's get this thing into sports, individual. Wow, you've got a little Darth Vader in the intake now. You can hear it, sounds great. So we're now in classic UK British weather. It's raining, but that's normal. So we're heading out to get some flyby content. So we've got Dylan out with Jade in the Corsa VXR, which is quite a cool car. So we're heading out. Hopefully you won't hear too much of Jade's car, because that sounds like a monster. But we're going to just get out now and really hear the intake. And it sounds really good. I'm not too sure. Well, we've got no fuel as well, funny enough. Zach's giving us the car with 9 miles left. But we'll make sure we give it to him with 0, just to make sure. But let's get traction off, that way it can spin up freely, nothing's holding back. It slides nice, but you can't walk the slide really, which is a shame, so you can't just kind of ride it out. The front end really grippy, so it comes back really quick. So it is just like a physical slide, there's not much to it. We could walk it a little bit like a 4-wheel drive kind of drift on track, but we need to kind of just learn the car a little bit more, how to really get all the weight over to the wheels and get it sliding properly. But first, kind of impressions of the MST. It sounds unreal. The little flutters when you let off. It sounds great. But the things with the intake, I always find they bed in. So the cones are brand new. All the materials in the airfield itself are new, so they're thickest, so as air flows through it, it will break it down slightly. Any of let's say if it's an oiled filter, it will kind of just, the oil will spread out a little bit, let the air kind of flow in. I always find the noise improves over time as air flows through the system. It gets better and better. So yeah, let's have a look once we get on the motorway, and we can get some outside footage as well to drop in. This is about going between 2,000 and 4,000 RPM. Got this iconic DSG kind of shift, so it's a real nice combination now. As you've got the shift from the exhaust doing it kind of far of such, you've also got the intake doing a nice whoosh, which sounds really good. And then you've got the classic on the turbo spools. favourite intakes. It's just, yeah, cost effective, does well, does what it says on the tin pretty much. We'll also be doing reviews on some other bits, but for now, the MST will be staying on the car as we start doing some dyno stuff. As always, thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel, and always like, subscribe, hit that bell button. We've got some amazing content coming. We're really gearing things up, so we're going to do our best. But anyways, I'm going to go and enjoy this car on the Nürburgring.